Threads is the brand new platform that has recently been released by Meta and falls very much under the category of working alongside Instagram and, to a degree, Facebook as well. Now, if you're listening to this, then you're probably interested in understanding how best to use this. And ultimately, what I want to share with you in this is how I am going to approach this and the 5 kind of rules, if you like, or 5 promises, that's a nicer phrase, isn't it? The 5 promises that I've made to myself about how I'm going to approach this platform. This might not work for you at all, but it's something that, based on previous experience of new platforms arising, based on how we run our business at the moment and how I like to spend my personal time, which by the way is not attached to my phone, then these are the 5 promises that I personally have set myself about how I'm going to use this platform. The reason that I share this, firstly, number 1 is for me, right? It's a little bit selfish, but I'm sharing this for me because I want to ensure that I have kind of standards and almost a specific kind of script, if you like, about how I want to approach this platform. So if I say that I'm going to do one thing and then I do it in a totally different way, firstly, it's contradictory, but the idea being then that at least I have sort of expectations and standards about how I want to approach this platform. So ultimately, I think it's best for the use of my time, but also realistically, if I'm totally honest, about my mental health as well, because I want to ensure that I don't feel that I'm being dragged in or sucked into another platform that's taking more time away from the things that I actually enjoy. Because if I'm totally honest, the things that I enjoy are spending time away from technology, spending time with friends, with family, outdoors, and in nature. And naturally, if I'm spending more time on a social media platform, it takes away from that. The second reason I want to share this is for you and anybody that's listening that is thinking, brand new platform, it's obviously taking off. There's been over 100 million new users on the platform in under a week. Do I need to get involved in this? What's all the hype? How should I best approach this? And rather than talking about it from a marketer perspective and a business owner perspective, I kind of wanted to talk about it from a personal perspective as well. So if you're considering, how do I use this, or should I do this, or maybe you've spent too many hours on the platform already, or maybe you've held off because you're thinking, I kind of want to see how this platform works, then I want to share just a personal few steps about how I am going to be using this platform, and hopefully 1 or 2 of these things may be useful for you as well. So let's do it. Let's dive in. So number 1, the first promise that I've made to myself comes along from this quote. I heard it from Alex Hormozy, the idea that don't do in a day what you wouldn't do in a lifetime. Now, the first time I heard him talk about that, he was referring to diet and how you kind of eat and kind of eating standards as well. In the sense of people who want to lose weight, if you fast for a day or you cut out chocolate for a day, but then the rest of your life you're eating cake and sweets and all these different types of things, you're probably not going to get the outcome and the result that you're looking for long term. So instead, why not focus on the things that you know you can do consistently? Small wins turn into big wins, and these small habits turn into greater results that we come about in the future. And so the temptation naturally with a new platform is to jump in there and to be all over it and spend hours and hours and hours in there, post and thread and engage with people and rethread and all these different things. You can see I'm getting used to the lingo as well. And spend loads and loads of time in there, create loads of content for it, really worry about it and really focus on, God, I just need to throw all this time into it. When the reality is that that's not going to happen after day 2 and day 3 and day 7 and day 30 and day 365 and so on, okay? So it's not really realistic. So what I really want to do is try and approach it in the sense of, how can I ensure that the way I use it today is going to be more or less the same tomorrow and more or less the same the day after, the day after, the day after. Now there's 2 caveats that I would add to that. Firstly, it's a brand new platform, so there's going to be some discovery elements. There's going to be, how does this work? I want to check this out. There is that natural, a little bit of excitement, and so there's going to be a little bit more time spent in the early days. The only other thing I would say to that, and again, slight caveat, is that it's a brand new platform, right? And so there is a land grab, quote unquote, opportunity. And so if you are, coming onto a new platform, generally what you'll see is people go there very, very quickly. Yes, they want to see what it feels like and looks like, but there is that opportunity to connect with people without bots, without, overly heavy algorithms, without all this automation, all these different things, without ads, where you can actually go and connect with people. And so for me personally, I think in the first 1 to 2, maybe even 3 weeks, I will spend a bit more time on this platform than I would normally. So I'm kind of factoring that in as well. But I want to be very mindful that I'm not spending hours and hours and hours and cutting out the usual parts that run my business just so I can go onto this platform. I want to keep our systems and processes in place, set aside time every day. It will be more in the first 2 or 3 weeks as this platform finds its feet and as I get to get in there and test things and connect with new people. But ultimately, I want to make sure that what I do in a day is something that I can repeat again and again and again. Number 2, so the second thing I want to do on this platform is I want to follow people that I am genuinely interested in. Now that might sound obvious, okay? That might sound like an obvious thing. It might sound like something that you're doing already. But for me, that's a big shift. And the reason I say that is because the majority of other platforms that I use, I very much use them for business. And therefore, I'm following people who are in our space, I'm following our clients, I'm following people that may become clients in the future, I'm following thought leaders and such in our space, people that I'm thinking, oh, okay, I wonder how this can help us grow and help us get to the next level. Now, I want to use this platform, Threads, slightly differently. And that's no disrespect to any of those market leaders. It's certainly no disrespect to any of our clients or any of the people that we follow that may become clients in the future. But I really want to use this platform slightly separately, and I do see this in a slightly separate way to share more about me and about kind of the personality side and share the personal side as opposed to it just being about the business element. And so I think this is a great opportunity to go and share a little bit more or find a little bit more about things I'm genuinely interested in away from just the business. You know, whether that is through longevity, whether that's through health, whether that is through particular sports and activities, all of which I greatly enjoy, whether that's around travel. I don't really share those types of things personally on my Instagram. Some people do, I don't. I very much use Instagram for business. And so this platform, I'm looking forward to using it in a different way where I actually get to maybe express a little bit more about my personality, but also it means I get to follow and engage and interact with people that I really think, oh, that's interesting. I'd love to know a bit more about that topic without feeling kind of that pressure and that burden of having to grow the audience or having to do this or having to do those different things that perhaps some of us tie to the business. Now, of course, you might listen to this and think, well, that's absolutely crazy. Why would you not use it as a business platform? I didn't say that. And I am looking to use this still to grow the business. I'm still a business owner. I'm still an entrepreneur, even though I don't love that word. And so I'm still going to naturally use it to attract clients, ideally, but I would like to do it through the way where I actually get to share a bit more about me and who I am. People get to know me better rather than how we've done it through Instagram, which is very much about different strategies and ways that people can grow their audience. So that's number 2. Number 3 very much follows into number 2, and that is I really want to use this platform to let my audience get to know me better. Now, we've got a big audience on Instagram, we've got an email database, we've got people in Facebook groups, we've got connections on LinkedIn, we have subscribers on the YouTube channel, we've got lots of listeners to the podcast as well, and I would anticipate, certainly through the podcast, certainly more through the YouTube channel, that people get to see a bit more of a glimpse of me and my personality, and they kind of get to connect in different ways. I don't necessarily show quite so much on Instagram. That might sound crazy because that's our main platform, but I very much see that as a business platform, okay? And my goal is not to spend hours and hours and hours creating content, taking selfies, lying on the beach, and then posting it all over Instagram at all. That's not my goal. I mentioned right at the top of this that I really enjoy being away from technology. I really enjoy being with friends and family and outdoors in nature. So the more that I can create a business that allows me to do that and ultimately allows our clients to do that as well, then that is very much the goal for me. But in this instance, I'm going to be following accounts that I'm interested in, as I mentioned before, whether that's in health and sport, books and leaders and all these types of things. But I genuinely think that by doing that and engaging in conversations with those types of people, it allows our audience to see a different side of me. And naturally, the more side of yourself that you show, the more you can tap into relationships with different people. Okay, I very rarely talk about my background and things that I do. We talk about the business and how we can help other people. But I do genuinely think that, not just for me, but generally for yourself, if you show different sides to yourself and different angles about yourself, then it allows you to attract more people in different ways. They will become interested in you for various different reasons. And this all ultimately feeds into your personal brand. Number 4, impartiality. Now, I thought long and hard about it. I didn't have to think about this at all. The reason that I describe impartiality is ultimately that Threads has, I don't know if you've noticed, but it looks very, very similar to this other platform, which is called Twitter. And Twitter, over the years, has become a platform where there's been heightened controversy, okay? And people will say things, they'll tweet things that perhaps get a bit of a strong reaction one way or another. There's people that have been removed from Twitter, banned from Twitter, and all these different types of things. And naturally, when there are lots and lots of people on the planet that are using a particular platform, they can communicate with each other easily, then people will share ideas and thoughts, and not everybody will agree with that. My goal when using this platform is absolutely not to divide people, okay? I remember the very, very first mentor that I had in business, his suggestion and his advice, if you like, was he never took a side. It was always a case of, never lean one way or the other. And that doesn't just mean kind of political lean, just in any area of life. Never lean in one way more than the other. And the reason for that is that the goal here is not to kind of rub people up the wrong way and kind of divide people. There are business owners and entrepreneurs and thought leaders and such who will take a particular stance. And yes, there are things that I have a stronger beliefs in than others. However, the goal here is not to divide people. It's really to look at what are the different ways that people are interacting and become, if you like, more of an observer and share a bit more about my own things and my own experience rather than, if you like, the preaching side, which occasionally people tend to do as well. And the reality is that we can only ever share from our own experience. We can only really share from, and that's where the authenticity comes from, is when we talk about how we've done things and how we've achieved certain things, or how we feel about certain situations, or how we've handled relationships and all these different things, our finances, various different areas of life, rather than coming from the position of you should do this and should do this and should do this and should do this, which I personally feel I've done a bit in the past, and I don't know that it comes across authentically, and I think it comes a lot more authentically when we talk about how the experience that we've had and how we've gone about certain things as well. So impartiality is going to be a big thing. I've already, even on this platform, the first few days, I've seen people kind of arguing, disagreeing, all that type of thing, and I really want to stay away from that. I don't think that's a particularly positive environment for me. It may be that you feel exactly the same, and the only thing I will not be impartial about is Manchester United. But aside from that, and aside from football, I kind of joke, everything else will be very, very impartial. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing the conversations that go on here, and I truly hope that it will be, in general, a positive space where people can interact, have fun, learn new things from interesting people, and connect with interesting people around the world as well. And then number 5, I'm promising myself that I'm really going to enjoy this, right? And that might sound like a crazy thing, but the way that I will do that first and foremost is by completely ignoring the metrics. Naturally, the tendency is when we go onto a new platform is to think, how can I grow the audience? How can I build that little bit of influence and build that little bit of persuasion and build that little bit of authority, if you like? And on this platform, on Threads, I really don't want to feel that myself. And this is a big thing. It's quite a conscious decision. And it also feels quite difficult to do that. The reason I'm keen on doing that and not letting kind of the size of the audience or the followers or the interaction or the engagement kind of hold me back is because, or concern me, I should say, is because that is something that, you know, if I'm totally open and honest, has concerned me about our social medias in the past and previously and on other platforms right now. You know, I'm very aware that we teach Instagram, we teach people how to grow and monetize on Instagram. So there is definitely that pressure, if you like, for us to feel that we can continue to grow and monetize our audience on Instagram, right? We can't teach that if we don't know how to do those things. Thankfully we do, therefore we can teach them. But there is that kind of level of pressure to make sure that we can continue to do those things so we can continue to run the business and continue to have that authenticity where we teach those things to clients. But on this platform right now, I really want to make sure that doesn't feel like it's going to be weighing me down. And I really want to feel like it's something I can just get in there, enjoy, connect with interesting people. And chances are that from all of our followers on Instagram, a number of those will come across. Some of them won't, some of them will, and that's okay. But chances are that I truly believe that there's going to be an incredible opportunity to build really strong connections and much stronger relationships with a smaller amount of people, rather than having that huge audience where people only get kind of very almost surface level to a degree. Some people do connect with us and we have a deeper conversation, but I think on Threads, chances are I'm going to have a much smaller audience. I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually quite excited about that. And I'm excited about the fact that I can therefore, it feels less pressured. And I understand somebody said this to me the other day, that Threads feels less pressured than Instagram for a number of reasons, you know, not having to show up and visual and looking good and all these types of things. And I totally get it. I totally get it. And I think that's what's so exciting as well. So the promise I've made is that I'm not going to worry about followers, I'm not going to worry about likes or retweets or rethreads or whatever they're going to be called. Instead, I just want to get in there and really enjoy this and connect with some interesting people, build some relationships with people, hopefully connect with people in ways that I haven't connected with before, and just really enjoy it and see how this develops over the course of time as well. So there you go. Those are the 5 things that I am promising myself as I approach Threads and start using Threads. This is just within the first week of the release of the platform, but these are the things that I really think I would like to use as kind of guides and almost parameters is kind of the thing, but a guide is probably the nicer phrase about how I would like to show up on this platform, use this platform, and think about this platform as well. So number 1 is don't do in a day what you wouldn't do in longer term. In other words, don't try and rush everything and cram everything into the first day. See this as a long-term thing and adjust accordingly and spend my time accordingly, rather than going into panic mode about how do we build the audience, how do we grow, how do we do this, how do we jump on all these different bandwagons and such. It's just get in there and enjoy the process. That is the first thing. Number 2 is to follow people that I'm genuinely interested in. And that means probably that I'm going to follow a smaller number of people. And that's okay. I think most people will when they come across from Instagram. They might not follow all their followers. They'll choose and select specific people. So I'm going to use this to follow people that I'm genuinely interested in and find other people, therefore, through them that perhaps are in different spaces, not just in marketing, not just in business, not just in Instagram, but in different areas that are genuine interest to me. Number 3, I'd like to get Instagram audience know me better, and that's a big thing. I'd like to give people the opportunity who are following us on Instagram to know me better, so they get to see more about what I share, what I'm interested in, and equally I get to see what they share and what they're interested in, and I think that therefore that's where the strength of relationships will come about. Number 4, impartiality, not taking a side, not kind of rubbing people up the wrong way. I just want to step back, see how other people are using it, and be open to both sides, except where Manchester United are concerned. And number 5 is to enjoy the process. And this is such a big thing for me personally. You know, I am driven. I do focus on growing the business. I do focus on numbers and how do we continue to grow and then share those things with our clients and such. But for this platform, I really want to take a step back, enjoy the whole thing, see how people are using it, connect with interesting people, and just have a really good time. So I hope this was useful. It's certainly going to be useful for me because I can now put these things up and remind me about them, but also remind our team about how we approach this as well. And I truly hope that even if you don't necessarily take each of these things, that even 1 or 2 might be useful for you. Thank you so much. Connect with me on Instagram. Connect with me on Threads. Haven't said that before. Connect with me on Threads, and I look forward to speaking with you very, very soon. All the best. Bye for now.